Hey, Grace and Peace family. This is Charles here with another midweek recharge. And this week I want to talk to you about enemies. Our enemies, right? Everybody's got enemies. Rivals, uh, detractors, those that would stand in your way, prevent you from reaching a goal or achieving a particular result. There are kind of benign enemies we think about in competition, sports teams, and those sorts of things. But then there are, real significant, um, and from a global perspective, ethnic enemies that a particular group has rivaled another group because of a slight that was experienced or felt generations prior, and that continues. I'll show my age a little bit, but it's the story of the Hatfields and the McCoys, which is kind of a popular kind of Southern Midwest trope here in the United States. But the point is, I think we're familiar with the concept. And what's interesting is Israel was promised a particular land, a territory, by God, and they had to possess that land, and that included fighting what they perceived to be their enemies. And in order to do that, Joshua and the Israelites had to cross the Jordan River and had to make it through the city of Jericho, which was guarded by these massive walls. And if you're familiar with the story, Israel's priests and army march around the walls. They don't build trebuchets and catapults and bombard the walls. They march around the walls, and they sing, and they blew trumpets, horns, and after a week of marching and singing, and the walls come down, and the walls come down in such a way that many scholars believe they formed ramps that allowed Israel to traverse the rubble to make it into the city and possess the land. Israel didn't think about the walls as their enemy. The walls were simply an obstruction to get to what they perceived to be was their true enemy. Well, I want you to think about this. Were the walls Israel's enemy? Were the inhabitants of Jericho Israel's enemy? Or was Israel its biggest enemy? Jesus tells us that we should love our enemies and pray for those who persecute us, because Jesus recognized that it's us. We get in our own way more than anyone else ever does. And so my challenge for you this week is to think about the ways in which you've gotten in your own way, where you have been your biggest enemy. Pray for yourself as well as pray for others, and watch the love of God transform your heart and the heart of your enemy. Let that be your recharge.